Ja, du vet vem. Det stora namnet.
Nej, inom vad?
LPR. Den svenska snubben.
Jaha, PewDiePie.
Ja.
Yeah.
And we're back. And back from trash talking another LPR.
Kid, what's the status?
Hey, Sully. We're on the trail, but treasure's closer to the cathedral than we originally thought.
Oh boy. So what do you need me to do?
Just keep those engines warm.
Just gonna
We'll be back before too long.
You got
Sully
it.
is the best character ever.
Will do.
I was watching the sort of feminist frequency review of this game before, and it was pretty interesting.
You asked me about my phone earlier. Were you interested in it?
Oh, you're trying to go sell it?
Not really, actually.
Just to no, it was. I'm sorry, I'm just geeking out.
Yeah, hey, that's what we do.
These details
and stuff up there. Looked like it was
No, it was actually down to.
It's kind of piratey to me.
I was sort of talking with a colleague of mine about old phones, and I was like, yeah, Nokia is gonna. They sort of branched out and started a new company, which, well, not Nokia technically, but people from there.
Yeah.
To make an Android phone.
Oh, because the Jollies, they also people who worked at Nokia and branched out and did Sailfish. They developed it for Migo, their older, or Migo, which became Mamo.
Mamo. Yeah,
other way around. Mamo, which became Migo.
I think I after you answered me. I asked him earlier what his phone OS was called, and Sailfish. And I just looked up on Wikipedia a little bit about his history. It runs Android apps as well?
No, well, yeah, it's not all of them, as I understand it, as much as I understand my own phone. They have to run through a library. So there's a lot of Android apps I can't run, like many of the not proprietary, but the standardized Swedish Android apps, like for banks and local transit and such, aren't available.
Yeah.
But some are. Like I have Signal on it, the messaging app, but it's some, but not all, and not all in a long shot.
No, so I mean, that's really an interesting thing, and I'm wondering if it's people who've been worked on Sailfish. And I read this on Flipboard, just in my stream somewhere, and I can't recall. But it was like, no, they were going to make a pure Android-based phone. And I was like, yeah, that's sweet. With Nokia's sort of build quality, with the know-how from that, and on an Android phone, that would be really nice.
Yeah, I think after this phone, I'm going to buy an Android phone, because I do miss all the apps that are available to most people. The phone I most like to buy is BlackBerry's Priv, which has a built-in physical keyboard. I'm big on physical keyboards. But the problem with that one is it's so far only sold in with an English keyboard, so I can't get the Swedish vowels. So, if I may go out on a tangent here.
Absolutely.
That's the thing with capitalism, that people say that you have all these choices, but they're so restricted to the choices that you have. You have so many different phone tillverkare, manufacturers, But they're all making the same phone. It's a big square with a screen, and that's it. I mean, I'd like a physical keyboard on mine. And you go into a phone store and you ask, hey, do you have a phone with a physical keyboard? And they'll just look at you funny. The Yolla phone I had with now, actually, they have like this cool thing that's called the second half, which is that they have a detachable backside where you can like create your own app, your own application. Add-ons to add to it from the backside, so it's like a connection there.
It's sort of a very early modular phone in that respect. It has it has one modular sort of add-on thing you can attach
exactly.
to it.
It's like phone block. The first that is I haven't thought about that way, but it's true. It's like the first or the first major phone blocks phone. So through a Kickstarter, there was this Netherlands guy that created a keyboard for it, and he made it in a bunch of different layouts, and one of them was the Swedish one. But you notice that it's not a major factory-made keyboard. It's not as good. It's good, but some keys are harder to press, and it's you notice that it's not.
I guess there's no getting away from these guys. Yeah, and there'll only be more.
Tested through a lot of stages and so forth.
Yeah.
So I do enjoy it, but I'd like to have one that is like made from the beginning for it. So the Prev has that. But as I said, it's only with an English keyboard. But going back to my comment about capitalism, like how can that not be that you just want a phone with a
physical keyboard?
Yeah.
No, I know, and I mean personally, I feel just like the trend, which sort of feels like Samsung kicked it off with the Galaxy Note of just bigging larger and larger phones, and I thought the Note was big. The iPhone 6s. Is actually, as far as I recall anyway, bigger than the Galaxy Note 2, which I had before. And you can't really wear these comfortably in pants. It's kind of a hassle. So if I keep buying Apple phones, I may probably go for the SE model just because it's so small in comparison.
I actually before my last phone, the Nokia N9, I actually bought the Samsung Note, and I really did enjoy it. Even the size of it, and now I have a handbag, so size doesn't really matter to me. But I surf mostly on my phone, so I enjoyed having the big screen. So I'd like to have a big phone with a big keyboard. That would be perfect for me. I understand that it's not for everyone, but I'd love a huge phone with a huge keyboard on.
I was looking at, apropos the modular phone thing. I was looking at the, there's obviously Google's sort of, whatchamacallit, I can't remember what it's called.
We go.
They haven't released it yet.
Exactly are you doing?
Google phone. It's Samsung's Galaxy.
Way up.
Google has.
That'll support even your.
I think it's called Project Aria.
Thank you.
The prototype. And it was supposed to be their sort of major consumer release of a modular phone. It's not out yet. But there was another phone that was released called the Fairphone, which is.
Yeah.
You probably heard of it?
I bought one for my wife.
Oh yeah. Did she like it?
Well, she's not a phone person, but it does the job.
And is the first one or the second one?
You don't
The
think
first
monks built this? No way. Some kind of pulley system.
And I was looking at that just because another friend of mine was looking at getting.
Clearly, we were meant to find it together.
Ah, so romantic.
Brotherly love. And they were looking to. He was looking to get one of these. Yes, since it was like trying to minimize its ecological footprint and stuff.
Yeah.
And apparently that was a modular phone too.
Whoa.
Originally, at least the Fairphone 2, I think, was supposed to be modular, but they ended up releasing a version that was like really hampered by. I mean, obviously it was difficult to scale, but I think Google might pull it off. Really.
Yeah. Well, they're a big enough company for it. I'd really like something like because I use my phone as a phone so seldom next to what other like as I said, I surf mostly on it. I'd like something like a mix between a tablet and a phone with a keyboard. I'm also another thing I've kickstarted. I've kickstarted bone conducting headphones.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's. I'm so looking forward to it. I'm hoping to get it like late summer, and with that also has a microphone, you know, so I can use that to if I ever want to talk, so I don't have to hold a big phone to my face. So I'd really like something with a big screen and a big keyboard. Yeah, I'm repeating myself now.
But I mean, you should, no earbuds.
What?
No, just like you reproduce the sound into your skull.
Yeah. It instead of having like speakers, they vibrate your skull, so you can hear the sound. It's actually an old technology, and it's better for your ear. I think cochlear implants use that. People who are hard of hearing.
Yeah.
So it's an old technology, but it's used now for everyone, so to speak. And I so look forward to it because it's kind of like the sound is from what people have tried it say, it's like it's coming from inside your head, you know, like you can't pinpoint it in the same way as you can when you hear a sound. It's like coming from inside your head.
Oh my god, the sound is coming from inside you all along. Oh. I'm just moving myself slightly more centered to the mic. We're gonna move into this is the one of the most fucking insane action sequences in this game, and not so much action. It just involves, you know, really high drops.
You know what is one of my favorite high action scenes in video gaming?
Mm-hmm.
The end of Halo 1.
Yeah, you mean the escape from the...
Yeah.
Oh, that was good.
That's when, you know, the entire level is crashing down around you and you're trying to escape from the Halo. And it's just so well done. It really feels like playing a piece of from a movie. Like you're a main character in a movie and you're just trying to get out, you know, and enemies jumping ahead of you and things falling down from the roof and the ground is exploding behind you. It's really well made.
Yeah, got him. That was a good game.
Halo is also had like the co-op in single player, which I really enjoy. It's something I say a lot, that I think there are too few cooperative games out there, but they really nailed it there. I had a lot of fun playing through that game with friends.
One of my fondest memories from early...
That was amazing. Save your strength, huh? Not done yet. Just lead the way.
Oh god, you have no idea. One of the my fondest was from a LAN party where, you know, we were all gaming and somebody brought along an Xbox, which was new at the time, and we and they'd hooked up the entire sort of computer area with, you know, a series of power strips, which during the second night just died. And me and my buddy we sort of skingat, vad fan? Fuck.
We said that we were the ones to use it.
Yeah, we basically we got first place. Where I called shotgun on the Xbox.
Yeah, that's a pretty good explanation of it.
And
you called it.
I called the Xbox basically, and we sat there and had that for ourselves, and played through like at least half the game in co-op. And it was like everybody else was like being pissed off and trying to rig up the power system again. And he was like, no, we got this, TV game. This is strange.
You can play games on a TV?
On a television? Yeah, that's just absurd.
Television is for watching, not playing.
That was his. I had not played an FPS on a console, and there weren't that many before pre-Halo. Was
No,
there?
and Halo is I think one of the I can't really pinpoint why, but I sort of dislike playing FPSs on consoles, but I think they nailed it on in Halo.
I think it was because it was the first console FPS that actually had a control scheme that really worked.
I don't know if I agree with that. I mean, it's the same. Yeah, I mean, if State basically worked, I mean, it had the same control scheme as many other. You know, move with one stick and look with the other. But they did it well.
Yeah.
It might have even be something with the with the level design that you sort of. I'm just. Speculating here, but how you were moving and how you looked were kind of designed for it because it was made for the console. That you didn't have to like have a total knowledge of your surrounding in 360. That they kind of shuffle you forward through corridors. That they might have made it easier. That it was made for that.
Yeah, and of course. At the same time, we cannot forgive and forget the silent cartographer, the library level.
Oh yeah.
Where it's like, maybe, like, I think the Penny Arcade strip sums it up super well, because it's like, yeah, maybe the alien architects designed these endless corridors to be the same, so that intruders would get bored and leave. Yeah, screw this, let's go punch some nails through our dicks instead, that would be more interesting. But, it was a really good game. And it was my love for Halo. I think stemmed from the since it was supposed to be the first really big. It was supposed to be an open, a continuous world MMO FPS originally for the Mac, and then Microsoft went and bought it up and made Steve Jobs very angry.
It was the guys who made
Especially cliffs. Tell me about it.
Marathon.
Yeah.
Bungie. No, and they were a major Mac developer. I mean, you would never believe it today, but the Mac was actually really kind of a gaming system like that.
Hey, you okay? Yeah. I was just saying. Yeah.
And there's so many references in Halo to Marathon. Like the entire notion of oh shit.
The entire notion of oh shit.
The entire notion of going rampant, for instance, with AIs. Is from Marathon
Can't get to
originally.
you from here.
This guy has got no fear of death at all.
It was, speaking of AIs, they had this movie called Chappie, where they had an AI. And I was sort of disappointed in it because I didn't think they portrayed an AI pretty well. But then I spoke to a friend of mine who's a movie enthusiast, even more than I, and they explained that it's that movie is not really about AIs. It's more a thought about child soldiers. And that made a lot more sense to me. They just used the framing of AI to talk about it. So I've accepted that, so to speak.
Probably at
And
home.
Marathon's,
Coco?
Halo's got
Oh, tell me
that
you wouldn't go for some hot cocoa
premise as
right
well.
now.
Child soldier.
Yeah.
It does?
Yeah, I mean, Master Chief's kidnapped when he's a small child from his family, and forced to go through these camps where he's basically genetically experimented on and made into a super soldier. They have to tweak his nervous system to react quickly enough for his Mark V suit to work.
Yeah, I got those books from you, the Halo books.
Oh yeah.
One of the things that really stuck with me was the part where a non-augmented human tries the Mjolnir suit for the first time.
Oh yeah.
And when he moves, it augments his movement so much that it breaks his limbs. And when he flails, because breaking your limb hurts, and you react to that, it goes into an endless loop of ripping all his limbs to pieces.
Yeah, I flinched when I read that. Yeah, that's just horrible.
Yeah, but it's a cool concept that they have to have these, as you said, augmented nervous systems to be able to control the armors, so that they don't go rampage on you.
Have you read Ender's Game?
No, but I watched the movie.
Okay, yeah, I haven't seen it actually. But I mean, again, Ender's Game, the premise there, where these child geniuses are, that's basically they've ripped that off in Halo. It's very similar.
They have this scene in the movie that annoys me because I'm a fan of fake science. I like movies where they try to explain physics that don't exist in a way, why they exist in that world, hyper speeds and how they work and such. But in Ender's Game, there's this scene where they have these anti-gravity fight games, and they jump around and shoot each other. And this guy goes "Okay, gather around," and they jump up ahead to the guy to gather around him, and they just slow down in 0G. You need to have some force to stop moving in 0G.
You can't just stop. Well, microjets in the... No, wait. They don't have suits.
And I'd enjoy if they actually added some comment on that. I'm the kind of person that if you just throw in a throwaway comment "Oh, we had those microjets in our suits," I like that. I think that's an awesome thing. They just have that in the back of your mind. We know this shouldn't work the way it works now, but it does now because of this.
Yeah. As long as you have an explanation for your magic, space magic, it's fine. That is probably my favorite thing with Sanderson, really, because he details his magical systems so much.
But one of the things that I always come back to is gravity, that they never really like explaining in sci-fi, because gravity exists because mass. So if you have a spaceship, it doesn't have any gravity. So in Star Trek and every sci-fi show out there, almost, there's no explanation how you can have fake gravity on a ship. On one hand, I think that if you don't have, I guess this is sort of counter argumentative for me, because I just said that I like when they do that. But when it's something that you can't explain, that it's better to not explain it than give a bad explanation. I guess it's pretty much context related.
Yeah. No, I get it.
It's this book series that I love, called The Golden Age, from an author that I hate. But I enjoyed his some of his first books, called the Golden Age trilogy.
What's his name, by the way?
John C. Wright. He's a men's rights activist now.
Oh.
It was a short story. He wrote these 3 books, and then he had a stroke or a heart attack. I don't remember. And he was a die-hard atheist before that. He's argumentative about it. And then he had this medical condition, and he met God then. And he can't explain what happened because we have to take his word for it. But he just, after that I knew that God existed.
Oh, right,
and he became a religious fanatic and a homophobe. He said that if Vulcans had a religion, it would be Catholicism.
Well, that's
Yeah, but those books are pretty good, and I enjoy them. One reason I enjoy them because he sort of follows many of the limits of our known physical reality.
Yeah.
There's no light speed. If you want to contact another planet, you have to wait for the minutes or hours it takes for the radio signal to go there and bounce back. They don't have any hyperspace, and they don't have any augmented gravity either. So, like, if you have gravity, it's because the ship is accelerating towards something, and then the gravity is counter to the movement of the acceleration. I like those small things they put in.
I think it's really good that they try.
Yeah.
I mean, a shitty explanation is like often worse than none. So I mean, it's good. That's at least a competent try.
Exactly.
I keep wondering if I've tried to read those books.
I think you started on one of them. I super enjoy them because they're very tech heavy. They're like explaining how things work, and he doesn't go like this happens 100 years from now, 1,000 years from now. He just goes all out and like this is like tens of thousands of years into the future. So you can create. So like the 30 or 50 first pages, you kind of don't have any idea what's going on in them because they just throw you into it.
Yeah.
And that's another literary form I like, when you don't explain the book from where we are to the reader, like, oh, this is like a TV, you know, or something. They just tell you what happens, and you sort of have to divine from how people are talking about it to understand what's going on. So I've read the book several times over and over again, and I understand more and more every time I read them.
I should give him a shot again. I had this. I keep mixing. No, I borrowed it from you once, and I didn't get very far, but.
I'd love for you to read it. I'd love for someone else to talk about it with. I think the only other person I know that has read them is my wife. So.
And I think I got sort of the wrong idea by starting reading what's his name, Banks.
Yeah, I borrowed that one from you.
Yeah, and I just cannot stand it. It's. Maybe I don't like him as an author, but his characters were just way too, they were a bit too self-knowing, a bit too much pretentious, too pretentious.
For me, one of the things that stood out was the characters of the ancient alien race that was alive for thousands or up to millions of years, and it just felt like. If you're going to have a character that's been alive for 1,000,000 years, it should be more different than he wrote it. Not just this elf kind of unknowable, ethereal. Oh, they're so.
So they're space elves, basically.
Yeah, exactly. That's how I felt they were explained. It was like you could communicate with them, but with our lifespan is like 100 years if we're lucky, and I think there should be a bigger gulf between us there. There should be a lot of different drives and wants and needs. It felt like a younger of that race, which was still several thousand years, was pretty close to us still. If you're gonna go that route, go bigger is what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with you in that respect. It sounds Like I know the holier than thou sort of shtick from elves as they're portrayed generally, but I think who pulls that off well? This is a really sort of shitty book thing, but I really enjoy the Warhammer fluff novels because they portray human beings as we're exactly as terrible as ever.
I enjoy some of them. I like the Gaunt's Ghost.
Yeah.
I always wanted. There's this Gaunt's Ghost book where like it's got a framing story about a battle, and throughout the book, every chapter has like an in-depth story about some of the main characters in the army. And there's this sniper called Mad Larkin.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and there's a story about him. There's a siege, and he's supposed to kill off the main guy.
Oh yeah, that one.
And he starts to hallucinate, and he starts to talk to an angel. And I thought that part would make such a good short Warhammer 40K movie, like a short story, but short film.
Yeah.
It's a little about humanity. It's a little about being different.
And everybody thinks he's like really crazy.
And it kind of is.
He's a bit, but he's also for the context of this world, he's actually pretty more in touch with how things are than most, because they're not. I mean, you can see like how terrified he is of everything, which is a reasonable response.
Yeah, and I try not to be so enthralled by violence, but it's
they do it well.
Yeah, it's this part where his resolve finally hardens, and he starts to assemble his sniper rifle. And he takes out each part and tells about it, how it was made, and what it does, and it's a really good story about who he is and where he came from, also.
No, I agree, and I think he's actually one of my favorite characters. I really, really like Gaunt as well, because they have this whole sort of band of brothers shtick in this. And he's Gaunt's really like the commissar who
Sam,
decides that the shit.
What if it's the only thing holding the tunnel up?
then I'll apologize.
All right.
He's like a commissar, but he's also a commander. But so he realized he's good at rhetorics. He understands the. It's not just about killing.
Yeah, I enjoyed those books a lot more than the Space Wolf books. I read like the trilogy, and it felt like every 10th word was superhuman.
Superhuman, and he uses
jumped with his superhuman legs, and he's punched with his superhuman arms, and he did this, and he does superhuman.
Superhuman.
I think I enjoyed reading the Space Marine Codex more than I enjoyed reading that book.
Did you check out the Horus Heresy?
No, but Åsa reads them.
Yeah. What does she think?
She likes them in the beginning, but it's sort of like how she explains it is that like it's a good story, but then the writers realize what a good story it is. So they don't want to end it.
Yeah.
So it starts with progressing pretty okay, and then it just slows down to a crawl because they want to drag it out as far as they can. And it just goes on and on.
Yeah, that's shit. Yeah, that's sort of the. This is a thing with the. I guess it's a problem with the game really, because I mean they don't want to. They want to keep selling their little tin men for a lot of money.
Yeah.
And if they were to suddenly change shit, things would suddenly be really.
But that's the sad part, is they wouldn't even have to. I mean, because it's such a big world I mean, it's the entire universe with several different races and battles and ideas and ideologies, and they could just have that part and just write that part and have it contained and finish it, and then there's a million other ideas they can talk about and write about, but they're so fixated on. Well, I guess that's a problem with like most media that becomes big, that they don't want to end it. They could do so much about it in it, but they just keep going and going and going in the same footsteps.
And the whole shtick with the Emperor, I mean, he needs to die, obviously, and be... I mean, there's nothing stopping them from, just having somebody be the Emperor reborn. I mean, he's a psychic manifestation of lots of psychers. He's not really a person.
Be extra careful on these.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Hey, look down there.
We'll see, I guess.
Looking ships.
In the meantime, I think they're
this
not
is
done
good.
with the Gaunt's Ghosts yet, and there was the Eisenhower series, which is also really good.
Yeah. Also read those two. She loves those.
Yeah, those are really great. In some ways, they're both really awesome, but they show like completely different angles of the Empire.
Yeah.
Remember, extra careful. Thanks.
Thanks, brah.
Okay. Okay, we're good. We're good.
Cat. Hello, cat. Oh, oh.
Are you catting about, cat?
Katniss. Mark's Katniss. No, Meowlord is the other one.
Deliberately sunk? Pirate's Path?
Pirates.
Profit? Death Trap?
Death traps, yeah. Just for emphasis. The actual death trap.
But I agree with you. What's his name? Sanderson?
Sanderson, yeah.
Yeah, he creates a fantastic universe. It's as I said, like fake science. Can you even have fake magic?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Fake magic. No, it's I guess it's all fake. No, it's how.
Haha!
Let's
Fake.
just call it magic.
Yeah.
He creates a very well crafted magical system.
His fake magic is better than other people's fake magic.
It's going back to comic books. They overpower so many of the characters so much, but as a fan of like physics, I always wonder where the energy comes from. Like you have Cyclops, which have
We're
these
about to
energy
head into the
beams he can
cave.
shoot out of his eyes.
Yeah,
But
might lose
that
contact
energy
with
has
it.
to come
Get to
from
work.
somewhere. You can't just create energy.
All right.
Or for
Sorry, sir.
an easier example, you have Wolverine, who's got the extreme healing factor.
Yeah.
But where does the mass come from? Like if you flame throw his arm or something, so the meat hangs off the bone, he can grow that meat back with his healing factor. But where does the mass come from to create that meat?
So it's not like he has to eat a lot.
Yeah, there's this horror author called Dean
See what
Koontz.
Avery left for us.
Yeah.
His books have become some movies too. I think. What's the called with the bugs? Never mind. I read one of his books, and he has a character that has kind of like an accelerated healing factor. But when that happens, he is like he has to eat a lot and go into hibernation and get his body to do that. But you can't just create mass out of nothing. That's like one of my problems with the Hulk too. Where does his mass come from?
Unless you're going to do like go the Pratchett route, where it's just kept in a flesh blob somewhere, safe until the magic user can.
But the problem is they're not explaining it through magic. They're explaining it through science. So then they have to use science to explain it.
That's a conundrum.
It's like it's another thing that.
Can I interrupt you for a sec?
Absolutely.
Being both fans of Steven Universe, do you know what is this kind of rock?
I don't know.
Okay.
No, but it's like there's a lot of transformation in comic books, like Hulk, Bruce Banner becoming Hulk. But I've thought about the reverse, like when Bruce Banner becomes the Hulk, as is explained in the movie The Hulk from 2004 with Ang Lee, which I love, is like his cells divide, and discounting the thing that where does the mass come from to divide those things. How do you revert from that? Do you like spit off the extra molecules or cells? Do you like have a shower of plasm out of the? Because you can always you can always evolve into something. You can always like move forwards and change, but changing backwards into what you were before. That's like a main theme of Star Trek as well. You often have the characters transforming into something, and then they have a cure and they reverse.
Yeah.
But like you don't have like a blueprint of how they were before. There's no save state in your body for each state that you are that they can go back and look at. It's like it's always a change. So if you change into something else, you'll have to change back, but to change that you have to follow a certain set of rules.
I'm thinking about the maybe it's several episodes of Star, where they're like changed into lizards. They sort of de-evolve.
Yeah. That's I like that episode. Yeah.
No, I don't get it either. But that's the thing. Sanderson doesn't explain where the stuff comes from.
Yep.
And really, really well. And I'm not going to spoil stuff because there's an ebook out called The Secret of Mistborn, which takes place during the original series. And if you were curious about how this shit works, it goes really into detail in it, and it's just
There's actually this really weird episode in the original Star Trek where there's an alien that scrambles Uhura's brains, and they don't revert her. Her brain is gone, which I like from a storytelling perspective, because of the things I've just said, that you can't really go back to something in that way. But how they explain it in the series is like they relearn her all the stuff, but then she wouldn't remember her childhood. She wouldn't remember her training. She'd be a completely different person.
That's so screwed up.
But it's made in the 60s, but it's still something I think is pretty weird that like she couldn't ever be the same person again. It would actually be kind of interesting if they made that like a plot point that from that point on she's like another person, and all the people on the ship she has to get to know them again. But in the next episode she's back to normal.
Yeah.
Hold your grim fate.
Yeah, well, I guess Avery was a better pirate than a poet.
This isn't Avery's.
What do you mean? Look. It's the Rhode Island pirate.
Thomas too.
Yeah, but it can't be him. I mean, this is clearly his sigil, but 2 died attacking the same treasure fleet as Avery.
Yeah, well, at least that's what the stories tell us.
If this really is 2's mark, then that means he's involved in all of this. How?
Damn good question.